Autopilot on nav. It has actually come to a complete stop. I'm not touching anything. It might see that red light. What's up, everybody? I'm Brian from I1Tesla, and today, or actually last night, really late last night actually, I got 42.2 update. So I should have drive-by nav. First, let me show you what was in the update. We're gonna hit the T and hit the release notes. And we're gonna wait for those to pull up. There's really three things that are in this update. And I don't know why this isn't pulling up. So I'll just tell you what they are since it's not pulling up. There's support for key fobs for the Model 3. If we go to locks, go to locks. You can edit these. If you just hit the pencil, you can actually edit those. You can change the names if you want to. So if you have a certain person that has a key card, you can actually name it whatever you want just by hitting this, and you can name the key card. So you can use this, you can save it, and now it says don't use. So you can name it. It doesn't really do anything though. You can delete them just by doing that. Not a big deal. But say you get a new phone, you get a new iPhone or something like that, you can actually delete the other phones and kind of keep it more cleaned up here. This still isn't pulling up. The other thing is Autopilot. You have to enable this, but navigate on Autopilot beta. Drive-by nav, kind of the same thing. So we're going to read all this really quickly. Speed reading, go ahead now. All right, that was very informative, but it looks like you can customize it. Ooh, Mad Max. We're gonna have to change those. We're gonna have to see those customizations, but let's do mild first. Well, that's actually what it's been doing. So let's go to average, and then as we're driving, we'll stop, maybe on the way back, we'll change it over to Mad Max and see what the difference is. And then the third thing, let's see if it pulled up. Of course not. The third thing was the computer is set up now to regenerate at a higher rate, or to regenerate more power, so you have more of that one pedal driving. I'll give you my impressions on that. You're not going to be able to feel that, but I will be able to feel the difference now that I have 10,200 miles on it. And leave in the comments below if you want me to do a 10,000 mile review. 7 months. I think it's been 7 months. I got it. And now that we have the drive-by nav set up, we're going to go on the highway. I'm going to head up north to Home Depot up there. And the reason why, 77 and 40, where that interchange is, there's a really long ramp. And I want to see if this car can actually do it. Because it's supposed to be from on-ramp to off-ramp. So we're going to see where it actually tells me to go, because that's actually going to be an interchange to get onto 40. We're not really getting off. So let's see if this car can do it. And if it can, I'm going to be pretty impressed with it. And I've got a camera here, maybe a little shaky, and this is probably going to be a 20-minute drive. So buckle up. I'm kidding. It is a 20-minute drive or so, but I'm going to fast forward through the boring parts so we can just see the cool action.
Drive east on Stumpy Creek Road for 0.2 of a mile.
And it has not asked me yet to drive by nav. And we'll see when it actually asks me to drive by nav. I wonder if it's going to wait till we get closer to the highway, because we're going to be on back roads up until then. Oh, it actually just said this right here as we're driving, because we actually weren't on a road yet. We were actually in the park there. So we are going to hit...
500 feet, turn left onto Perth Road.
We are going to hit navigate on Autopilot and see what the difference is. So far, nothing's different, but... So now that we're on Perth Road, I'm actually going to put it on Autopilot. I'm going to have my hand on the wheel as usual. I'm paying attention.
Now turn right onto Clont Hill Road.
While we're doing this, let's see what the changes are on here. Nothing has changed through the menu, so So really, you just have to have this blue to actually be using Navigate on AutoPilot. But I'm excited to see what it's like on the highway, if we can ever get there.
Interstate 77 North Ramp.
All right, we're looking to see if there's any changes. Turn signal off. Doesn't allow me to do autopilot. Okay, here we go. So now we have autopilot. Ooh. Didn't like that. Didn't like how that changed. But you can see we have a solid line now tracking all the cars. It's set to 5 over the speed limit. And it should tell me when it wants me to change lanes. So we're just going to stay in this lane until it changes. Give you a close-up look. See, there's one solid line now. There's one solid line now instead of the two blue lines, which is kind of different, but it still shows those other lines. It shows where the lines are. But nothing really has changed except for what's on the graphic right now. It hasn't asked me to change lanes at all. Maybe because I only have it set to 5 over the speed limit. Let me bump it up. Let me bump it up to 75 and see if it offers me to change lanes at all. And I don't know why it's not telling me to do that for some reason. Because we're going way under the speed limit. Confirm lane change. Car was on my ass, almost hit me. And there's a car in the way, so I don't really want to change lanes. But now I will. And it's going to speed up. There's a car there. Change the lane and get in between these. I'm actually going to change lanes back to behind this semi. It's actually slowing down, which I didn't like, but let me bump the follow distance to 1 because that car wanted to go faster. So now we're behind the semi, which I don't like riding behind semis, but it's weird that it doesn't ding. It doesn't make a very big audible sound to change lanes when you can. I saw a graphic sometimes pull up on there, but you do have to manually change lanes. And there's a clearing after this truck. We're going to see what it actually tells me to do. No one's back there, but I'm going to initiate it anyway because this semi wants to go around me. Now I didn't see that at all, but now I didn't see it tell me to change lanes, but I saw that there was a clearing. So I don't know how that's actually working. Hopefully this changes and it actually dings and tells me, because it was not very audible to do that. Interestingly, we're in the fast lane, and really this is just for a passing lane, and it hasn't told me to get over at all, which there's plenty of space there. It's not saying move over. You would think that it would want me to move over into that lane, especially since our exit is actually in 1 mile. And I actually need to get over now, and this truck has got in my way. car puts the brakes on and moves over, which is nice.
Mile, take exit 51 on the right onto Interstate 40 toward Asheville.
That's pretty nice. So the nags do still pop up. Let's see here.
Now take exit 51 on the
It actually
right.
turned the turn signal on itself.
In 1,000
which is really
feet,
cool.
take the Interstate 40 west ramp on the left toward
All right.
Asheville.
So it has turned the turn signal on by itself. It should be taking this interstate by itself. We're going to be turning left
now
up
take
here.
the Interstate 40 west ramp on the left.
All right. It's doing all this by itself. I just have my hand resting here. But so far this is pretty cool. So far it's pretty cool. This actually merges. High curvature detected. This popped up on the screen. Never seen that before. It's going to be limited. We are going to move over a lane. So that pops up to confirm, but there's no ding. I haven't heard a ding to let me know that that's what it wants to do. So now it does it again.
In 1,000 feet, take exit
See right there, it actually says something.
US 21
It pops down.
Statesville.
You would think it would ding to let me know. You would think it would ding to give me an audible sound to do that. We'll find out. We'll see what happens
take
now.
exit 151 on the right.
300 feet. It's slowing down. Okay. So now it bumped off of that, but it's still in autopilot. You see that the lines are still there. It's tracking everybody.
Now take the US 21 ramp on the right.
And let's see if it makes this turn. We have a green light, but it didn't make the turn. You know, that was my first attempt at drive or navigate on autopilot. So that was actually pretty interesting how it wanted me to change lanes, but it didn't give me an audible sound. It just had the blue bar that popped down, which isn't very noticeable. It would be kind of nice to have it a little ding, because you're just paying attention. You're not really looking at this screen, especially if you're taller like me. I'm up a little bit higher on that screen than probably most people. Me personally, I would like a little ding, maybe a little chime that you can turn on and off, because not everyone's going to want that. I understand that. Maybe if there's just a little chime, hey, like a little tiny ding, maybe something like this, instead of just that blue bar that came down. It wasn't very noticeable. And when it wanted you to change lanes, it wasn't a quick thing. It was just a quick little thing. It didn't give you much warning. By the time you saw that, you glanced that in your eye, if you weren't paying attention, I was able to pay more attention to the road as far as if it was clear for me to go than the car was able to. But let's get into the settings and see if there's anything there that I can turn a chime on to. Let's go to autopilot, customize. Well, first of all, we're going to go to Mad Max because we want to try that out. See how rude Mad Max is. I don't see a chime. I don't see anything in here that would indicate a chime for the turn signal. You'd think it'd be in the autopilot and under the navigate on autopilot feature. Interestingly, there's no auto lane change button anymore. It is this now. There's auto steer and then the navigate on autopilot. So I didn't see anything in the settings to have a chime come on, but maybe that's something that's going to be in the future. They're still working on how that works out because this is a beta. You saw the word beta there. So we're going to get back on the road. So I've set it up to go to Mooresville, the Lowe's in Mooresville, and you see the navigate on autopilot does not come on. The reason being, we're in a parking lot at a Publix grocery store, so we're actually not on a road yet. So once we actually hit the road, this will pop up and say navigate on autopilot, and we can click the button. Yep, there it goes. See, it pops up because it recognized.
Now turn left onto North Point Boulevard.
It recognized that we are on a road. So I'm going to use the GoPro for this whole thing because I want to pay attention like I would be normally driving, and we're going to use the audio from the GoPro. Hopefully it's not too bad. Now I like to put it on autopilot whenever possible, just so there's more data out there. This autopilot's not really set up for this road right now, but I like to have as much data going to the network as possible, so people can, so these cars can get better. And looks like we're going to be able to do autopilot pretty early on this, and it goes into keep your hands on the wheel. It's going way too slow, unfortunately. Wish it would pick up speed. I'm gonna cancel out of that because it's going way too slow. Now,
in 1,000 feet, take exit 152A on the right onto Interstate 77 south towards Charlotte.
it wanted to go 30 miles an hour on that on-ramp, and the very slow cars are behind us. Not a great move.
Now take exit 152A on the right.
So we're turning here. It's actually doing just fine. A high-speed turn. It's adjusting the speed as it needs to. I've got my hands ready just in case. And turn signal. Come on, car. Jeez. Alright, these lines are not set up. These lines on the highway are not really good, well marked. They couldn't see those lanes to actually merge onto the highway. I don't know why it wanted me to change lanes there, but it did. I didn't hear the audible sound, but it said confirm. So I'm just doing what I was told or shown. But now we're actually going slow in the fast lane.
1,000 feet, take exit 35 on the right onto Brawley School Road.
And let's see what happens at the
now take
light.
exit 35 on the right. In 1,000 feet, keep right to take Brawley School Road west. Then turn right onto Brawley School Road.
It's turned off of autopilot, or turned off of drive by nav,
right
and it's on
Brawley
autopilot.
School Road west.
It's slowing down by itself, and it doesn't know what to do.
Now turn right onto Brawley School Road.
It's actually confused here, but it is coming to autopilot on nav. It has actually come to a complete stop. I'm not touching anything. It might see that red light. Interesting. It stopped at this intersection there. We're actually pretty far from the intersection. You can see we're not up there, but I'm gonna sit here until the light changes green, and we're gonna see if it actually go. Press the accelerator to resume, and no one's behind me. So it is telling me to grab the wheel because it knows we're in an intersection. So we are trying this again. We are in the exit lane, so it doesn't matter. We don't have to merge into the highway at all. We have autopilot by nav, so I'm actually going to turn the turn signal on at the end of this
feet,
to turn right.
1,000 feet, keep right to take Brawley School Road west.
So now it's off of drive by nav, and we are going to be
right to take Brawley School Road west.
We're going to see if it will change lanes. Nope.
Now turn right onto Brawley School Road.
All right, and again it is stopping for this light. I think it's stopping for the intersection itself. It may have seen that red light. I'm not positive because it's iffy because it keeps inching forward. It says autopilot navigation complete, but then it comes to a complete stop, and it is like pumping the brake, and it wants me to take over, but it's so confused right now. I'm letting it do it because I'm way before it. It stopped. I hope you had fun today. Share the video, subscribe to the channel, and as always, Stay positive.